You have spent so much of your life waiting for the right conditions to arrive before you allow yourself to feel at peace. You tell yourself, when this problem is solved, when that person finally understands, when the circumstances align just so, then only then will you be able to rest. But here is what Buddhism has been whispering for centuries, and what your own exhausted heart already knows. Peace does not arrive when life is perfected. It arrives the moment you stop expecting life to be perfect. Right now, as you sit here, your body is carrying a quiet tension, the weight of resisting what already is, the silent war you wage against reality every time you whisper to yourself, "This should not be happening." And this resistance, this constant friction between what is and what you wish would be, is the source of nearly all your suffering. There is an old Zen poem about a frog jumping into a pond, just that, nothing more. No drama, no commentary, no need to make it mean something grand. Just the splash, the ripples, and the ancient stillness returning. This is the teaching waiting for you today. Your true home is not somewhere you need to travel to reach. It is here, in this breath, in this moment, exactly as it is. You do not need to depart, you simply need to stop fleeing. Section 1. The root of friction. You wake in the morning, and before your feet touch the floor, there it is, that familiar tightness in your chest, that quiet voice whispering that something is wrong, that today should not unfold the way it seems it will. Perhaps it's the weather turning grey when you hoped for sun, or the message that never arrived, or simply the ache in your lower back that wasn't there yesterday. And in that moment, without even realizing it, you speak a sentence that changes everything. This should not be happening. These 5 words, so ordinary and automatic, are actually a declaration of war, a war against the morning itself, against the rain, against the body you inhabit, against the vast and turning wheel of reality that does not pause to ask your permission before it moves. The Buddha called this dukkha not just suffering, but the friction that arises when we rub against life with the sandpaper of our expectations, demanding that the river of existence flow backward to meet our wishes. There's an old story from the Zen tradition about a monk who came to his teacher in great distress, saying, "Master, I cannot accept the death of my mother. It feels unbearable." The master looked at him with deep compassion and asked, "Does the river ask the stones if it may pass?" The monk stood silent. "Does the autumn ask permission from the leaves before it arrives?" The teacher continued, "Your mother's death is like the river, like the autumn it flows, whether you grant it permission or not. Your war is not with death. Your war is with the fact that death does not care about your objections." And in that moment, the monk understood that his suffering was not the event itself, but his furious, exhausting insistence that the event should not exist. This is the root of all our friction. We swim upstream against a current that has been flowing since before we were born and will continue long after we're gone. We clench our fists around outcomes we cannot hold. We argue with gravity. We scold the seasons for changing. And the river? It does not slow down. It does not apologize. It simply continues, and we grow tired from the resistance, our arms heavy with the effort of pushing against what already is. Suffering, the teachings tell us, ceases not when life bends to our will, but when we finally stop demanding that it must, when we let our fists unclench, when we turn our bodies with the current instead of against it, we discover something unexpected. The river was never our enemy at all. Section 2. Acceptance as active clarity. Now, when we speak of acceptance, something in you might recoil, because the word itself has been so misunderstood, so tangled with images of passivity, of lying down in defeat, of letting life walk over you while you smile weakly and say, "It's fine, everything is fine." But this is not what acceptance means in the teachings of the Buddha, not at all. True acceptance is not the white flag of surrender. It is the profound revolution that happens when you finally stop fighting the fog and instead open your eyes to see what has been standing in front of you all along. There's a teaching that says, "The obstacle is the path," and this is only true when you stop treating the obstacle as an enemy and begin to see it clearly, without the distortion of your resistance warping its shape. Acceptance is the moment you turn on the light in a room you've been stumbling through in darkness, and suddenly you see the furniture, the walls, the doorway that was always there but invisible to you in your panic and thrashing about. Consider the old Zen story of the master who was asked by a troubled student, "How do I free myself from suffering?" The master picked up a heavy stone and held it at arm's length until his hand began to shake with exhaustion. "Do you see this suffering?" he asked. The student nodded. Then the master simply opened his hand and let the stone drop to the ground. "That's how," he said quietly. The student protested, "But master, what if I cannot simply drop my problems like a stone?" And the master replied, "Then perhaps the question is not how to drop them, but why your hand remains clenched." You see, acceptance begins with the recognition that you are holding something not because you must, but because some part of you believes that if you stop gripping, stop resisting, stop fighting, then you will fall apart completely. But the opposite is true. When you finally release your grip on how things should be, you discover that you don't collapse into chaos. You stand, perhaps for the first time, on solid ground. This is what the Buddha meant when he taught about right action, action that flows from clarity rather than confusion, from peace rather than panic. Saying yes to this moment, to this breath, to this difficulty standing before you does not mean you become passive or indifferent. It means you stop wasting your precious energy on the impossible task of arguing with what already is, and instead you meet life with the full force of your awareness, your compassion, your intelligence. A doctor cannot heal a wound she refuses to look at. A gardener cannot tend to soil he pretends is already perfect. And you cannot move forward from a place you will not admit you are standing in. Acceptance is not the end of change, it is the beginning, the necessary first step, the honest acknowledgement of the truth that allows all real transformation to unfold. When you stop demanding that the morning be different, you finally see the morning clearly. And in that seeing, you discover what is actually needed, what can actually be done, what has been waiting all along for you to simply open your eyes. Section 3. The sacredness of the ordinary. There's a simple teaching from Thich Nhat Hanh that cuts through all our spiritual seeking like a knife through morning mist. If you cannot wash the dishes just to wash the dishes, you are incapable of living. When I first heard this, I thought it was too simple, too plain. Surely there must be something deeper waiting beneath the surface. But that's exactly the point we spend our entire lives waiting for, the deeper thing, the more important moment, the real life that will begin once we finish this tedious task in front of us. And so we wash the dishes while thinking about the meditation we'll do afterward. And we meditate while planning tomorrow's meetings, and we sit in tomorrow's meetings while our minds race ahead to the weekend, to the vacation, to the retirement that will finally bring us the peace we've been postponing for decades. We are always eating our future plans instead of tasting the tangerine that is actually in our mouths right now, its sweetness going unnoticed, its juice touching our tongue like a ghost we're too distracted to feel. Watch a young child eat a cookie, not the hurried, sugar-crazed gobbling, but the way a 3-year-old sits with that cookie as if it contains the entire universe. She examines its shape, traces the chocolate chips with a careful finger, takes a small bite, and then pauses, her face registering each flavor with the seriousness of a wine expert, the pleasure moving across her features like sunlight across water. 45 minutes might pass before that single cookie is gone, and in those 45 minutes she has been nowhere else, wanted nothing else, needed nothing else. She has not used the cookie to get to some better moment. She has been fully inside the moment the cookie offered. This is what we have forgotten, what we trained ourselves to abandon in the name of efficiency, productivity, getting ahead. We have become so skilled at using the present moment as a stepping stone to somewhere else that we no longer know how to actually stand on it, to feel its texture, to receive what it offers. There's a Zen story about a monk who asked his master, "What is the most important teaching of Buddhism?" The master replied, "When you're hungry, eat. When you're tired, sleep." The monk was confused. "But master, doesn't everyone do that already?" And the master smiled and said, "No. Most people, when they eat, are thinking 1,000 thoughts. When they sleep, they dream of being awake. They are never where they actually are." This is the quiet tragedy of our lives. We have turned even the most sacred acts into interruptions, inconveniences to be rushed through. Using the toilet becomes a moment to scroll through our phones. Washing our face in the morning becomes background noise to the mental rehearsal of arguments we might have later. Walking from the car to the door becomes invisible, erased, a gap in time we filled with planning and worrying, rather than the feeling of our feet touching the earth, the temperature of the air on our skin, the particular quality of light that will never be exactly this way again. Every act, no matter how humble or ordinary, is a doorway back to presence, back to life itself, but only if we're willing to stop fleeing long enough to walk through it. Section 4. The Alchemy of the Mud. There's an image that appears again and again in Buddhist art and teaching: the lotus flower rising from murky water, its white petals impossibly clean, impossibly beautiful, blooming in a pond thick with decomposing leaves and dark sediment. And the teaching whispers to us across centuries: no mud, no lotus. Without the mud, without the decay, without the organic garbage settling at the bottom of that pond, the lotus would have nothing to root itself in, nothing to draw its nutrients from, no foundation from which to push its stem toward the light. The flower does not bloom despite the mud. It blooms because of it, feeds on it, transforms it into something that takes your breath away. And yet, when it comes to our own lives, we spend so much energy trying to avoid the mud, to keep our hands clean, to create conditions of perfect marble smoothness where we imagine peace might finally take root. But joy cannot grow on marble. Compassion cannot sprout in sterility. The heart learns its deepest lessons not in the sanitized corridors of comfort, but in the messy, difficult, sometimes unbearable soil of our suffering. There's a story told about the monk Ryokan, who lived in a simple hut and owned almost nothing. One night, a thief broke in, only to discover there was nothing worth stealing. Ryokan, finding the thief empty-handed and dejected, took off his own robe and offered it to him, saying, "You came all this way, please take this so your journey is not wasted." After the thief left, Ryokan sat naked in the moonlight and wrote a poem. The thief left it behind the moon at the window. You see, Ryokan did not discriminate against the mud of that moment. He did not rage against the intrusion, did not curse the loss of his only garment. He met the difficulty with such spaciousness that it transformed before his eyes into something else entirely, a moment of generosity, a poem, An encounter with beauty he might have missed if he'd been too busy protecting himself from life's messiness. This is the alchemy the teachings speak of, not the turning of lead into gold, but the recognition that what we call lead was gold all along, waiting only for us to stop rejecting it long enough to see its true nature. When sadness arrives like an unwanted guest at your door, your first instinct is to bolt the lock, to pretend you're not home, to wait in silence until it goes away. But the Buddha taught that suffering is not your enemy, it is your messenger, arriving with urgent news about where your heart is still clenched, still closed, still afraid to open. The Vietnamese monk Thich Nhat Hanh speaks of greeting our suffering like we would greet an old friend. Hello, my sadness. I know you are there. I am here for you. Not pushing it away, not drowning it in distractions, not spiritually bypassing it with false positivity, but welcoming it, sitting down with it, offering it tea. Because when you finally stop running from your pain and turn to face it with curiosity and tenderness, something unexpected happens. The pain begins to speak. It tells you about the loss you haven't grieved, the boundary you haven't set, the truth you've been avoiding, the love you're terrified to need. And in that telling, in that honest encounter, the mud of your suffering becomes the fertile ground where real transformation can take root. This is not about glorifying pain or seeking it out. The teachings are clear that unnecessary suffering should be avoided. But the suffering that has already arrived, the difficulty that is already here, this is not waste to be discarded. This is compost. This is the organic material of your life breaking down, releasing its nutrients, preparing the soil for whatever wants to grow next. Do not discriminate against the mud. Do not spend your life wishing for a cleaner pond. The lotus in you is already pushing its way toward the surface, and it knows exactly what it needs. Section 5. The Second Arrow. The Buddha told a story that has echoed through 25 centuries because it names something we all recognize the moment we hear it. He said that when an untrained person is struck by an arrow, they suffer from that arrow, but then, almost immediately, they shoot themselves with a second arrow, and it is this second arrow that causes the greater agony. The first arrow is the event itself, the diagnosis, the rejection, the loss, the failure, the rainstorm that ruins your plans. This arrow hurts, yes, and the pain is real and deserves to be honored. But the second arrow is everything that comes after. The story you tell yourself about what this means, the spiraling anxiety about what might happen next, the harsh judgment that you somehow deserved this, the bitter comparisons to people whose lives seem untouched by such difficulties, the endless mental rehearsals of how you could have prevented it, should have seen it coming, must now fix it immediately or else. The first arrow is pain. The second arrow is suffering, and it is this second one, the one we shoot into our own hearts with the bow of our resistance, that keeps us bleeding long after the initial wound could have healed. Consider this. You wake to find rain falling on the morning you plan to hike the mountain trail you've been anticipating for weeks. The rain itself is neutral water falling from clouds, a natural phenomenon without malice or intention. But notice what happens in your mind. Within seconds, you've constructed an entire architecture of suffering around those raindrops. This always happens to me. I never get what I want. The universe is against me. Now my whole day is ruined. I should have checked the forecast more carefully. Why can't I ever catch a break? Each thought is another arrow, and by the time you've finished your internal monologue, you're lying on the floor of your mind, bleeding from wounds that the rain itself never inflicted. The rain simply fell. Everything else, the disappointment that metastasizes into rage, the sense of victimhood, the cascade of catastrophic predictions, all of this is your own doing, your own refusal to let the rain be just rain. There's a story from the Zen tradition about Hakuin, a master who was falsely accused of fathering a child with a young woman in his village. The townspeople came to his door with fury and judgment, demanding he take responsibility. Hakuin simply said, "Is that so?" and accepted the baby into his care, raising the child with tenderness for a full year until the young woman finally confessed that someone else was the father. When the townspeople returned, full of apologies and shame, to take the child back, Hakuin handed the baby over with the same calm words, "Is that so?" He did not shoot himself with the second arrow of indignation, of "How dare they?" of "I've been so wronged." He met each wave as it came, accusation, responsibility, vindication, and moved with its energy rather than bracing against it. And in that movement, he remained free. This is what the teachings mean when they say we cannot stop the waves, but we can learn to surf. A surfer does not stand on the beach cursing the ocean for its motion, does not demand that the water be still and cooperative. She watches the waves, reads their rhythm, and when the right moment comes, she paddles hard and rises to her feet, balancing on a force far greater than herself, moving with it, dancing with it, surrendering to its power, while simultaneously engaging all her skill and attention. The wave will break, this is its nature, but the suffering is not in the breaking. The suffering is in the rigid stance, the clenched refusal, the second arrow we fire at ourselves when we insist that the wave should not be what it is. Life will bring its arrows, this is guaranteed, but the ones we shoot at ourselves, these we can learn to set down, and in that laying down, we discover a resilience we never knew we had, a capacity to meet difficulty without multiplying it, to feel pain without drowning in the story we tell about the pain. The first arrow strikes. The second arrow, that one is always our choice. Section 6. Cradling the crying baby. Thich Nhat Hanh teaches us to greet our suffering the way a mother greets her crying infant, not with irritation or judgment, not with the desperate need to make the crying stop immediately, but with a tenderness that says, "Hello, my dear one. I know you are here. I see you. I am with you now." Imagine a mother who hears her baby crying in the next room. She does not stand at a distance, shouting, "Stop crying, you shouldn't be crying. What's wrong with you?" She does not pretend the crying isn't happening, doesn't turn up the music to drown it out, doesn't lecture the baby about resilience and positive thinking. No, she walks to where the baby is, she bends down, she lifts that small warm body into her arms, and she holds it against her chest where the baby can feel her heartbeat, that ancient rhythm that says, "You are not alone. I am here. You are safe with me." And here's what's remarkable. The baby often stops crying not because the problem has been solved, but because it has been seen, because its distress has been met with presence rather than rejection. This is what mindfulness asks of us when pain arrives, not that we fix it or transcend it or spiritually bypass it with affirmations and forced gratitude, but that we turn toward it with the same quality of attention a loving mother brings to her child. When loneliness wraps itself around your chest like a cold hand, when anxiety hums in your blood like electricity, when grief sits heavy in your belly like a stone, your first instinct is to push it away, to distract yourself, to reach for anything that will make you feel differently than you feel. But what if, just this once, you tried something else? What if you placed your hand on your own chest, felt the rise and fall of your breath, and whispered to yourself, "Hello, my loneliness. Hello, my anxiety. Hello, my grief. I know you are there. I see you. Come, let me hold you for a while. Not with resignation or defeat, but with the kind of tender acknowledgement an older sibling might offer, a younger one who comes running with scraped knees and tears streaming down their face, that says, "I know it hurts. You don't have to hide it from me. You're allowed to hurt." There's a koan in the Zen tradition that asks, "What is the sound of one hand clapping?" And students puzzle over it for years, trying to solve it with their thinking minds. But perhaps the answer is simpler than we imagine. The sound of one hand clapping is the sound of trying to hold yourself with half your heart, of extending compassion to others while withholding it from yourself, of being willing to comfort everyone except the one who needs it most. When you finally bring both hands together, when you stop dividing yourself into the part that judges and the part that is judged, the part that comforts and the part that needs comfort, then you discover what the Buddha called metta, the unconditional friendliness toward your own experience, whatever it may be. And yes, there is fear in this turning toward. Fear is a natural reaction to moving closer to the truth, to dropping the armor we've worn for so long we've forgotten we're wearing it. When you've spent decades running from your pain, the prospect of finally stopping and facing it can feel like standing at the edge of an abyss. What if you look directly at this suffering and it swallows you whole? What if you open your arms to this grief and it never leaves? But here's what actually happens when you cradle your crying baby instead of abandoning it in the other room. You discover that pain, when met with presence, has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It moves, it breathes, it transforms. The baby cries, you hold it, and slowly, not because you've done anything clever or forced anything to happen, but simply because you've offered the gift of your attention, the crying softens, the small body relaxes, and something like peace settles into the space between you. This is not weakness, this is not indulgence. This is the deepest strength there is, the courage to be tender with yourself, to meet your own suffering with the same compassion you would offer to anyone you love. Section 7. The illusion of the clenched fist. In some parts of Asia, hunters have a clever way of catching monkeys that reveals something profound about the nature of our own imprisonment. They hollow out a coconut, cut a hole just large enough for a monkey's open hand to slip through, and place rice or fruit inside. Then they secure the coconut to a tree and wait. When a monkey discovers this treasure, it reaches in eagerly, grasps the prize, and suddenly finds itself trapped because a fist clutching food cannot fit back through the opening. The monkey could free itself in an instant simply by opening its hand and letting go, but it refuses. It sits there, arms stuck in the coconut, screaming and thrashing, absolutely convinced that it cannot let go, that it must have this thing it's holding, that freedom is somehow less valuable than the handful of rice it will not release. The hunters walk up calmly and capture the monkey, who remains, even in that final moment, unwilling to unclench its fist. And we watch this story and think, how foolish, how simple the solution. But look at your own life. Look at how many coconuts you've got your hand stuck in right now, how many things you're clutching with white knuckles while your freedom waits patiently on the other side of your willingness to let go. The Buddha spoke often about what he called tanha, this thirst, this craving, this desperate grasping that keeps us bound to suffering. Not the simple desire for a cup of tea when you're thirsty, or the wish to avoid pain when you stub your toe, but the clench, the rigid grip, the belief that you must control the outcome, must secure the future, must make sure everything unfolds according to your specifications, or else catastrophe will surely follow. This is the gaining mind that the Zen masters warn against, the exhausting stance of always reaching, always strategizing, always trying to manipulate reality into giving you what you think you need. Shunryu Suzuki said it beautifully. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. But in the expert's mind, there are few. The expert's mind is the clenched fist. It knows exactly what it wants and will accept nothing else. The beginner's mind is the open hand, willing to receive what comes, able to hold lightly what arrives, free to let go when the moment passes. There's a story about Suzuki Roshi himself, shortly before his death from cancer. A student asked him with tears in her eyes, "Roshi, aren't you afraid?" And he looked at her with such gentleness and said, "Yes, but I have plenty of time to be afraid. Not I've transcended fear or I've gained control over my emotions, but this simple recognition that fear could come and go as it pleased, that he didn't need to clench against it or clutch at peace or control his own dying. He was part of the flow, not its owner. He was the river, not the dam trying to stop it." This is what we forget. In our frantic attempts to manage and control, we are not separate from life, standing outside it with a checklist and a strategy. We are not the director of this play, but one of the actors, and half the lines are improvised, and the stage keeps shifting beneath our feet, and the other actors keep going off script, and no amount of clutching our prepared notes will make it unfold the way we planned. Control is the wall we build between ourselves and the raw aliveness of existence, because we're terrified that without our constant management, everything will fall apart. But what actually falls apart when you open your hand is not your life. It's the illusion that you were ever holding your life in the first place. The Tao Te Ching says, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." When you finally unclench your fist, you discover that you were never holding anything real anyway, just rice in a coconut, just thoughts about the future, just stories about who you need to be and what you need to have to be worthy of existence. And in that opening, in that surrender, you feel for the first time the lightness of simply being here, requiring nothing, grasping nothing, free to move with the wind because you've finally stopped trying to command it. Section 8. The Zero Center. There's a teaching in Zen Buddhism, so simple it sounds like a joke, and yet it contains the entire path in 4 words. No self, no problem. When a student first hears this, the mind rebels. Of course there's a self. You think, I'm right here experiencing this confusion, feeling this anxiety, carrying this identity through the world. But sit with it a little longer, and you begin to notice something strange. Every problem you have ever had involves the story of me, this separate, solid entity that needs defending, needs validating, needs protecting from a world that seems to constantly threaten its stability. I am not respected. I am not loved enough. I am falling behind. I am afraid of losing what I have. Every conflict, every suffering, every sleepless night begins with this fundamental assumption that there is a small, vulnerable self inside you that stands separate from everything else, and that self is in constant danger of being diminished, rejected, or destroyed. But what if that self, the one you've spent your entire life defending, is more like the Big Dipper, a pattern we've agreed to see, a story we've projected onto independent points of light that have no intrinsic connection except the one we imagine? Look up at the night sky and find that familiar constellation. Your mind sees a dipper, a ladle, a cohesive shape. But those stars are separated by unfathomable distances, millions of light years apart, moving in different directions, completely unaware of each other. The dipper exists only in your perception, only in the human tendency to connect dots and create meaning from scattered light. And this is closer to the truth of what you call yourself than you might imagine, a collection of sensations, thoughts, memories, and impulses that arise and pass away moment by moment, with no solid core holding them together, no unchanging essence standing behind the curtain pulling the strings. You are not the Big Dipper. You are the vast night sky itself, and what you've been calling you is just a temporary arrangement of light that will dissolve and reform into new patterns as the universe continues its ancient turning. The Vietnamese teacher Thich Nhat Hanh used to say, "You are not in the universe, you are the universe, an intrinsic part of it. Ultimately, you are not a person, but a focal point where the universe is becoming conscious of itself." This is not abstract philosophy meant to comfort you in your separateness. This is the direct pointing to something you can actually experience when you sit quietly and look for the one who is looking. Where is the boundary between you and the air you're breathing? When did the apple you ate yesterday stop being apple and start being you? When a thought arises, where does it come from? And when it dissolves, where does it go? The more closely you examine this entity you've spent a lifetime defending, the more it reveals itself to be not a thing but a process, not a noun but a verb, not a separate self but a flowing pattern of the whole. There's a famous exchange between a Zen student and his master. The student asked, "What is Buddha?" The master replied, "Who is asking?" The student stood silent, and in that silence, something shifted because the one asking the question and the question itself were not two separate things standing apart from each other. They were two faces of one reality, like the wave asking the ocean, "What am I?" And here's where the peace comes in. Here's where the burden lifts. When you stop trying to defend and maintain a solid self, when you recognize yourself as the clear sky rather than the clouds passing through it, you discover that thoughts can come and go without threatening you. Emotions can rise and fall without destroying you. Because you are not the weather, you are the vast space in which all weather happens. Anger appears like a storm cloud, dark and loud, and you don't need to push it away or identify with it. You simply watch it drift across your awareness, knowing that your fundamental nature is the sky, unchanging, unbothered, always clear beneath whatever passes through. No self to defend means no self to lose, and in that losing, you find what you've been looking for all along, the piece that was never actually missing, just hidden beneath the exhausting work of trying to be somebody. Section 9. The medicine of just this much. There's a phrase in Zen that sounds almost disappointing when you first hear it, so plain and unspectacular that it barely registers as wisdom at all. Just this much. A student came to the master, desperate for enlightenment, burning with the need for transcendence, for some cosmic revelation that would finally make sense of everything. "Master," he said, "I've been practicing for years. I've meditated until my legs went numb. I've read all the sutras. When will I finally arrive at the truth?" The master gestured to the room around them, the afternoon light coming through the window, the sound of birds outside, the slight breeze moving the curtain. "Just this much," he said quietly. The student was devastated. "Is that all?" And the master smiled. What else could there be? You see, we spend our entire lives convinced that peace is waiting somewhere else in the next achievement. The better relationship, the thinner body, the fuller bank account, the enlightened state we'll reach if we just meditate a little harder, pray a little longer, become a little more spiritual. And all the while, life is offering itself completely right here, right now, in its humble fullness, and we keep dismissing it because we're too busy reaching for something grander, something we imagine will finally be enough. Watch what happens when you throw a smooth pebble into a river. It doesn't fight the water or argue about where it should land or spend its descent, wishing it were made of gold instead of stone. It simply sinks, turning slowly through the current, finding its way down through the weight of its own nature until it comes to rest on the riverbed in exactly the place it was always going to rest. No drama, no existential crisis, just the perfect physics of letting go, of allowing gravity to do what gravity does, of surrendering to the simple truth of what is. And there's something almost heartbreaking in watching that pebble settle, because you recognize in its descent the peace you've been searching for, the peace that comes not from having everything you want, but from wanting what you have, from recognizing that this moment, exactly as it is enough. Not enough in the sense that it fills all your desires, but enough in the sense that it is complete unto itself, whole, lacking nothing essential. The Zen master Bankei used to teach about what he called the unborn Buddha mind, this natural awareness that exists before we start adding all our stories and judgments and interpretations. He said that if you can just recognize this awareness right now, in this very moment, you're already home. You don't need to become anything. You don't need to achieve anything. You don't need to wait for conditions to improve, or for yourself to be worthy, or for the stars to align. The Buddha nature you're looking for is already looking through your eyes, already beating in your chest, already breathing this breath. But we can't accept this simplicity. We keep saying, if only I had a different job, then I'd be happy. If only my partner understood me better. If only I lived in a different city, had different parents, made different choices 20 years ago. The if-only mentality is a kind of poison that seeps into every corner of your life, convincing you that the present moment is just a rehearsal for some better moment that's coming later, that you should hold your joy in reserve until conditions improve, that you're not allowed to rest until you've fixed everything that seems broken. But here's the medicine the teachings offer. If you cannot find peace here, in this body, on this ordinary Wednesday afternoon, with these imperfect circumstances and this unfinished life, then you will not find it anywhere. Because anywhere is always here once you arrive. That future you're banking on, that better version of yourself you're working toward, that peaceful retirement you're saving for when you finally get there, it will still be just this much. The sound of your breathing, the feeling of your body in space, the simple flow of sensations moving through awareness. Life is never more than this, never grander than the immediate experience of being alive. And when you finally let go of the fantasy that peace exists somewhere other than where you're standing, when you stop chasing the horizon and simply look down at your feet, you discover what the ancients have been trying to tell us for millennia. The ground you're standing on is already sacred. The breath you're breathing is already holy. The moment you're living is already complete. Just this much, nothing more needed, nothing more possible. Just this much, and it is enough. And so we arrive here, at the end of this teaching, but also at the beginning, because every moment offers you this same choice, to fight what is, or to rest in it. Take a breath now. Wherever you are, let it fill your lungs without forcing anything, and as you exhale, offer your face the smallest half smile, so subtle that no one watching would even notice. This smile is not because everything is perfect. It is because you are alive, because breath is still moving through you, because despite everything, you are still here. The Vietnamese monk Thich Nhat Hanh called this the smile of awareness, the quiet acknowledgement that this moment, exactly as it is, belongs to your path. The difficulty belongs. The uncertainty belongs. The joy that comes and goes belongs. Even your resistance to all of this belongs. You do not need to exclude anything from your heart anymore. There is an image in Buddhism of a great tree standing in the middle of a storm. The highest branches whip wildly in the wind, bending and breaking, leaves tearing away into the dark. But if you look down to the trunk, down to the roots buried deep in the earth, you find something unmoved, something stable, something that knows how to weather what comes. You are that tree. Your thoughts, your emotions, your circumstances, these are the branches, and they will always be moving, always be stirred by forces beyond your control. But your true nature, your awareness, your capacity to simply be present, this is the trunk, and it has never been shaken. Peace is not something you achieve by perfecting your life or mastering your mind. Peace is what remains when you finally stop struggling, when you let the branches blow as they will, when you root yourself in the simple truth that you are here, you are breathing, and this moment requires nothing more from you than your presence. The war is over. You can rest now. This is enough. You are enough. Just this.